Speakers. Honourable Bob Nanva.
Mr Deputy President, earlier today and quite relevantly, the Minister for Transport warned members opposite to mind the gap between their posturing and the reality of Sydney's 100-year-old rail network. This call for documents is a desperate attempt to blame the Minister and to blame this government for problems which he and the government have inherited from the previous government and which we are now all collectively trying to fix. It is a transparent try-on, and pretending that the problems of an unreliable network have only sprung up in the past week or the past month, when in fact they have festered for over a decade. It is a decade of underinvestment, maintenance backlogs, rolling stock failures that a succession of coalition ministers were warned of and dutifully did nothing to address. Issues with overhead wiring, the quality of tracks, problems with signalling systems have been a concern for many people that are intimately aware of how the system functions and doesn't function. These are legacy issues that will take time to fix, even with a concerted effort. But why years of maintenance problems and pleas were ignored is anyone's guess, but one might assume that the quiet, unheralded and often unseen work to keep our heavy rail network functioning and moving properly may not have been electorally attractive, or it might not have been electorally beneficial enough. Or it may have been because the loudest warnings on the fragility of the network would routinely come from the real industry experts, the workforce on the front line, and yes, their union, the RTBU, who would routinely be dismissed or railroaded on key issues for no obvious reason other than some misguided suspicion or deep-seated ideological objection. Warnings like the fact that sweating our ageing rolling stock assets would obviously not allow for regular maintenance because they were running at too high a frequency to be able to be repaired and restored, ignored. Warnings at a timetable which didn't leave enough room or enough time for flexibility in the event repairs were needed to allow the network to bounce back after a major incident, ignored. Mr Deputy President, when I was at the RTBU, engagement often occurred with the union after a crisis or when it was being blamed for a crisis, rather than an early stage to prevent the crisis. The Minister has upended that approach and changed it, and I'm glad he has. He's transparently stepped through the government's significant investments in addressing the maintenance backlog that's built up over a decade. And so transparent is the Minister, he's not opposed to releasing these documents, but has merely sought a reasonable time frame to release them in the customary, ordinary way, given there's no urgency and there's no finite document being requested.
Thank you. Further speakers.